All right, John. Now we're going to talk about something that we hear a lot about. We hear people say fake news, and it's become a bit of a joke, almost a meme. But where we get our information is really important, and it's pretty easy to actually debunk that. If someone says that's fake news, well, there are ways we know if our news is credible or not.
Yeah, and it's so important that I know we hear, as you said, we hear that phrase all the time. In fact, you've probably been saying out on the playground, like, oh, that's fake news, right? But it's such an important thing. Like if Darren gave me a piece of information, I'm going to want to make sure that as much as I trust Darren, because he's a friend of mine, I still want to know, is that information correct, right? So we have this lovely, thing called Google that we can easily search, but there's things inside of Google that we want to look at. Like if I went to Wikipedia, and as much as we love it because it has so many big words in it, we also know who wrote this. And more importantly, right at the end of Wikipedia, there's references. References are huge to take a look at because it tells you like who actually wrote it. Or, maybe it's a trusted website like National Geographic has been around for a very, very long time. And they have tons of magazines. They are published people. They have to have these sources done. Or things like a Canadian encyclopedia. And Darren, you recommended this for a couple reasons, right?
I love this for any kind of research you want to do about Canadian things because it tells you who the authors are, when it was published, when it was last edited. So they just edited this a couple of years ago and who updated it. And then often these articles will have references or they'll have other sites that are on there. So Canadian Encyclopedia, not only is it trusted, but they're very good at telling you when it was published, as opposed to some other sites. And we're not saying this information is wrong necessarily, but like here's a region site, but it's just on Weebly. This could be good information, but I don't see references. I don't know where this came from. I don't know who made the site. So should this be a trusted source? Probably not.
So understanding what is fake and what is not, and not falling for fake things is something that we have to do as good researchers and good digital citizenship. So the activity that I have for you today is there's two things. We're going to watch a video that you can play up, which is already queued for you, for the teachers to play, and it will stop. I want you to discuss, is it fake or is it real? How do you know? And then there's a website that you can go to that's kind of really cool. It's one of my favorite pets. I'm going to tell you this. It's one of my favorite pets called the Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus. And so I want you to take a look and say, what do you think about that tree octopus? And then just have a discussion.
Yeah.
What are some ways that you can check for fake or real news?
Yeah.
And then we'll see you at the next activity, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And what I also like is we can talk about the video and we'll talk about the website, but there's also just in writing, are there certain words that tell you that maybe the author of this isn't impartial, that the author has some feelings and they want you to feel the same way? And that's called bias. So are there some words in there? And John, you have some great pro tips about that, like checking multiple sources, finding out more about the author. So watch the video, look at the website, and then also talk about some other little keys when you're reading something that'll give it away of whether it's something that's biased or not. So we'll see you in the next video.